Hey, guess what's happening on this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with your friend and host, Oscar Camejo.
Don't allow prediabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. But what would happen if you or someone you know who has been diagnosed with prediabetes, they just continue to do the same things that led them to develop the condition in the first place? You see, there are some health complications that many people experience that they just simply ignore, like being overweight, being obese, heartburn, acid reflux, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. I experienced all of the above and did not take prediabetes serious enough to make a change. And you know what, folks? It cost me big time. Prediabetes can either be a catalyst for change or a pathway towards poorer health and the eventual development of type 2 diabetes. That's what happened to me. You have to choose, folks. Your attitude will determine your altitude, and your altitude will determine your transformation. My transformation did not come overnight, but I had to change my attitude. You see, how you decide to approach your transformation for your life will make a big difference. But today is the first day of the rest of your life. What are you going to do with it? So in today's episode, I'm going to share what prediabetes is and how to determine if you're at risk. I'm going to share my personal story and my journey and what I wish I had done early on when I was first diagnosed with prediabetes. I'm also going to help you to develop what I call the attitude of war so that you too can beat prediabetes and prevent yourself from developing type 2 diabetes. So stick around to hear the rest of today's episode. You don't want to miss it. Let's go. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabeteslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabeteslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Welcome to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo, helping diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. Folks, can you believe it? Man, we're at episode 97. We're 3 more episodes away from hitting the big 100. So shout out to all of my followers, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're listening to this in Europe, Asia, South America, you name it, or even here in the US. Big shout out to you guys. I really appreciate you all. Man, we've hit over 62 countries and territories with over 12,000 downloads. Folks, that is so awesome. I really appreciate it. So a gift that I want to give to my podcast listeners and those of you who are tuning in, no matter where you are in the world, I want to send you my free weight loss planner. Yeah, I put it together. I put my sweat into it, my time into it, so I can be a blessing to you guys. So whether you're a new listener or you've been listening for a while, I really want to get this into your hand. But in order for you to get it, you have to listen to the entire episode so that you can get your hands on this free weight loss planner. Trust me, you're going to want to get it. So remember, you need to listen to the end of this episode to get the details. All right. So in today's episode, let's dive right into preventing prediabetes from developing into type 2 diabetes. Folks, I'm going to keep saying it. Don't allow prediabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. You can prevent it. Trust me. You know, if someone with diagnosed prediabetes continues with the same unhealthy lifestyle habits that contributed to the development of the condition in the first place, there is a high likelihood that their prediabetes may indeed progress to type 2 diabetes. You see, prediabetes is a warning sign that blood sugar levels are elevated, but not yet to the level of being diagnosed with full-blown type 2 diabetes. If you don't take any action to address the underlying factors, such as your poor diet, lack of physical exercise and activity, and other unhealthy behaviors, trust me, it can lead to the onset of full-blown type 2 diabetes. I experienced that, and I wish I had changed my attitude. I wish I had changed my habits. You see, continuing with unhealthy habits can lead to the progression from prediabetes to type 2 diabetes in many cases. Now, I'm not saying if you have prediabetes, you're automatically going to develop type 2 diabetes. But if you continue with unhealthy habits, the things that led to prediabetes, there is a possibility that things could get worse. So I want to help you not to get to that next level. So keep listening. You see, individuals with prediabetes are already at a higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease, and not addressing those lifestyle factors, trust me, can elevate this risk. When I was going through my situation, I was having some heart issues, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. See, folks, my lifestyle had to change. My change was critical. You see, whether you are dealing exactly with what I was dealing with, or maybe you're on the borderline, I don't care if you're in Europe, Asia, the US, Africa, or South America, this is a problem, folks, that we can turn around. We can turn diabetes and prediabetes around. We just simply have to change our attitude. We have to change our mindset. We have to change our lifestyle choices. Folks, listen, I know that people say, well, it's all about genetics. And if you have a genetic predisposition for type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, there's nothing you can do. So just let the chips fall where they may. Just enjoy yourself. Eat whatever you can. There's nothing that you can do about it. Well, there's studies that show the contrary, folks. You can do something about it. Just because your mama, your dad, your auntie, or whomever has had type 2 diabetes or even prediabetes, that doesn't automatically mean that everybody in your whole family and lineage is just destined to have prediabetes. No, there are some common things. But you know what, folks? The bottom line is we have to change our mindset and our attitude about our individual lives. You see, prediabetes and diabetes in general is not limited to just one person or one group of people. This is a worldwide problem. So the International Diabetes Federation, they put out an estimate back in 2021 in their diabetes atlas. They estimated that nearly 320 million people ages 20 through 79 were diagnosed with prediabetes in 2021. And that estimate is going to jump to 370 million by 2031. Folks, that is a major jump. So listen to this for a second. Like I mentioned, this is not a U.S. problem. It's not a race or ethnicity problem. This is a worldwide problem that's affecting people of all cultures, of all races. Again, whether you're in South America, Asia, no matter where you are, people are dealing with this. But you know what? There's studies that shows that people can reverse this condition of prediabetes with simple lifestyle changes. I want you to do some homework. I want you to visit the International Diabetes Federation website. Their website is simply idf.org, so that you can get some more information about this worldwide problem and some solutions that are being put in place to create greater awareness and to help families and people who are they may not have access to the education that it takes to help them and the resources that will help them to turn their lives around. So this is really good information. If you like to research like I do, I recommend that you go to the idf.org website and get some information. You can also get some statistics on type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, pre-diabetes, gestational diabetes. It's all kinds of issues that a lot of people are dealing with, but there are solutions out there. So folks, go ahead and visit that website and get some more information. All right, let me go into my story. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you're dealing with a bunch of issues, or maybe you're just concerned that maybe you have type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, or you're at risk of it and you don't want things to get worse. You see, my story began in 2018. I was first diagnosed with prediabetes in September 2018. I went back and looked up my health records in preparation for this episode. And man, it just blew me away to the level of detail that I was able to find, just kind of track what was really going on. And I wish I had paid attention every doctor visit, from the diagnosis to the follow-up visits to the blood work and all that stuff. I really wish I had paid attention. So in September 2018, I went in for a routine physical. I was experiencing some acid reflux and heartburn. And it was just really just strange. It was just kind of like, why am I always dealing with this acid reflux? It was just something I've never experienced before. So they diagnosed me with GERD, GERD. That's gastroesophageal reflux disease, basically acid reflux. And because of that, I think they had given me some type of medication to take and so forth. So I started that. And at this time, folks, listen, I was 5'10". Of course, I'm 5'10", 260 pounds at the time. My BMI that's that body mass index, was 37.3 kilograms, right? And my blood pressure that day when I went in for my physical was 136/80. So already I'm overweight, dealing with obesity for a 5'10" guy. My body mass index is 37.3. So all that's going to make sense in a few moments. So I had some lab work done. I did some blood work. They did a lipid panel for cholesterol, did a urinalysis to see what was going on, if there was any proteins or whatnot in my urine. And that's when I first learned about the Mediterranean diet, by the way, because the doctor at the time actually was a nurse practitioner. She was like, hey, look, you are at risk here and you need to lose some weight. So I'm going to recommend that you get on the Mediterranean diet. I had never heard of the Mediterranean diet. And apparently it wasn't like just some trendy fad diet, some short-term diet. This was just a way of life, a way of eating. And unfortunately, I just, I took that sheet of paper that said Mediterranean diet. I read over it and I was like, okay, yeah, I can make some changes, but it really wasn't a wholesale serious change. So then a month later, I went back to the doctor, and this is October 2018. A month later, I went back to review my blood work and to really talk with the doctor to see what was going on. So guess what, folks? I was diagnosed with hyperlipidemia, basically high cholesterol, high triglycerides. And so my cholesterol went up, and the doctor took note like, hey, you know what? Something's going on here. Things are looking not so good here. So, but you need to take this really seriously because you're at a risk of developing cardiovascular disease. So I'm like, dude, how do I go from, having acid reflux and heartburn to now being diagnosed with high cholesterol, hyperlipidemia, and for you nerds out there, this is what hyperlipidemia is. It is a medical condition characterized by elevated levels of lipids, basically fats in the blood. This includes high levels of cholesterol and or triglyceride. It is a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease and can contribute to the formation of plaques in arteries, potentially leading to conditions like atherosclerosis. I don't think I pronounced that correctly. So basically, I was at risk of getting a heart attack. Which is crazy. At the time, I was also experiencing some chest pain. So they put me on this thing. Yeah, I had to do a stress test. I had to get on like this treadmill and just kind of walk and run a little bit. And they wanted to see what was going on with my heart. And that I could do an entire episode on what happened there. Put it like this. At some point, they said, hey, you're going to need a stent to put in your heart because one of your valves is clogged. It's crazy. That never happened. My health actually improved by the time I went to get the procedure done. So I'll talk about that another time. But October 2018, folks, I was not only diagnosed with hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol, dealing with chest pains, but I was also finally diagnosed with pre-diabetes, which is known as impaired fasting glycemia, IFG. And for you nerds out there, IFG or pre-diabetes is a condition where blood glucose levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be classified as full-blown type 2 diabetes. It is an intermediate stage between normal blood sugar levels and diabetes. So I wanted to share all that with you and be all technical with you because you know what? A lot of times we go to the doctor's office and we get this paperwork and there's a lot of foreign terminology. There's a lot of foreign words that we really don't understand. And the doctor just says, hey, yeah, you have hyperlipidemia, you have IFG, and you need to do something about it. And you just shake your head like, okay. And they tell you take medication. You're like, okay. But they really don't tell you. Some doctors don't tell you that, hey, you need to make some lifestyle changes like to your diet and exercise so that you can come off and even prevent yourself from having to take meds. A lot of doctors don't do that. They just give you a pill and say, hey, take this for this, take another pill for that, and come back and see me in 3 months or 6 months. Let's see what it looks like. But in between, I mean, what am I supposed to do? So that was my situation. Yeah, the nurse practitioner gave me that sheet of paper that said, learn about the Mediterranean diet, but I had no real motivation. I wasn't, anxious to get things done because really, yeah, aside from the heartburn, which they gave me a pill for that, the heartburn went away. Aside from the high cholesterol, I wasn't feeling anything other than the chest pains and, that eventually went away. So I just kind of went on my merry way. But guess what, folks? Something that I didn't tell you was in October 2018, that same doctor visit, that 1 month follow-up visit, I had gone from 260 pounds, right? From September to October, I had gone from 260 pounds to now 266 pounds. So I was 260 and I went to 266 pounds. So I'm gaining weight. That's a big difference. 6 pounds difference. My body mass increased, folks, from 37.3 kilograms to now 38.3 kilograms. My blood pressure was still high. It was not 136/80. By this time, though, it was 130/82, still high. So remember, I didn't make any wholesale changes from that first visit. Now I'm at the second visit, follow up, going over the blood work. And they tell me you have pre-diabetes. But folks, guess what? I still did not take it serious enough. I was like, okay, well, other than, the occasional, being tired or, I was dealing with the heartburn before, but I'm good. Everything is fine. I don't have to get a stent put in my heart after all. I'm good. I still kept eating the way that I was eating. I kept, not making a wholesale change in terms of my exercise. Yes, I will go on the occasional walk, but I did not have a plan. Oh yeah, I signed up for a gym, but I would go in, be excited and with no plan and eventually just stop going to the gym. I tried, I think it was CrossFit too. And CrossFit was just way too hard. I was not ready for CrossFit. So I didn't have a plan for my eating and nutrition, didn't have a plan for my exercise. I was just willy-nilly, just do whatever. And guess what, folks? Fast forward to April 2019, had another doctor's appointment. By this time, I had gained more weight. I was now at 268, folks. So remember, September 2018, I was 260. October, 266. Now here, April 2019, I was at 268. Now see, that's just my documented weight. Folks, to be honest, I can't tell you if I had gone beyond 268 and may have been at 270 or what have you, because I was not weighing myself. I was not paying attention to my health. I wasn't paying attention to, what the scale was saying. I just knew I was gaining weight. I ignored it. I just kept ignoring what was going on. So by this time, I had reached 268 pounds. So a lot of times on my podcast, on social media, I talk about, my max weight was 268. Folks, that's only because of what I had been documenting. So I could have very well been over 268 pounds. So you get what I'm saying. Hopefully you're paying attention to what I'm saying. Now, April 2019, another doctor's appointment. Yes, I'm 268 pounds. My BMI had increased to 38.5. So I'm gaining more fat. I'm getting bigger. My waistline is getting bigger. Folks, I think I was almost up to like a 4X in clothes, in like a shirt. My waistline was probably 44 inches or more, 45, 46. I just remember all my clothes were tight. My blood pressure now is 132/84. So folks, my blood pressure is still high. And you can imagine, cholesterol still high. Everything was just getting worse, folks. And I'm telling you, by this time, my A1C was 7%, which basically is that pre-diabetes range. Now, folks, I was at this time also diagnosed. I finally was diagnosed with the coronary arteriosclerosis, commonly known as coronary artery disease. So they told me, hey, there's a buildup in your heart. Remember early on, I had said that, they were going to put a stent in my heart and stuff like that. But this stuff was still building up in my body. You see, folks, I can go on and on about my story, but I wanted to paint a picture to you of what was going on in me, because maybe you're in that same situation. You're either going to the doctor or skipping appointments, you going to the doctor, not listening to what your doctor is telling you, or maybe you just nod your head and you made a change here or there, but you have not seriously made any changes. You don't have a plan to change. You don't have a guide to follow because you're not serious about it. Folks, if you are living with pre-diabetes or you feel that you may be at risk of developing pre-diabetes, let me say this to you. Listen up. Do not allow pre-diabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. I wish somebody was in my ear, like I'm in your ear right now, telling you, don't allow pre-diabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. I know, I get it. You're like, Oscar, I get it. I'm trying to make changes. That's why I'm listening to your podcast. Well, I applaud you. Keep listening. Keep following the tips and solutions that I'm giving you. Keep following up with your doctor's appointments. But don't think that medication alone is a solution. I'm not telling you not to take meds. I'm not a physician. But what I am telling you to do, I need to drive this home. And you can drive this home to your loved ones. Do not allow pre-diabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. Why? Folks, I spend a lot of money on medication. I spend a lot of money on insulin, on metformin, on Novolog. I spent a lot of money and nights worrying, was I doing the right thing in taking this medication? Was I taking it properly? Folks, I'm telling you, I was stressed out just trying to live healthy or making a change. By the time I had developed type 2 diabetes, this is August 2020. That's when I was finally diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. But that road between 2018 to 2019 and 2020, I was not making a wholesale lifestyle change. And I wish I did, man. I look back at pictures and I'm like, dude, you were dealing with type 2 pre-diabetes right here. And you went to the doctor on this day and you didn't listen. You ignored it. You kept ignoring it. And you started having issues with your eyesight, right? You started having tingling in your lower extremities, in your toes going numb. Yeah, I dealt with all of that. Folks, I'm telling you, don't allow pre-diabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. You see, how you decide to approach your transformation of your life will make a difference. It'll make a big difference. I want you to develop what I call an attitude of war. It's an attitude of war. You see, this battle to beat type 2 diabetes and even pre-diabetes will take a commitment. It will take this fierce attitude, this mindset that, you know what, I'm prepared for the battle. You see, the preparation of your mindset is very important. You have to develop skills. It's going to take skills. I'm telling you, skills and habits in order to develop the attitude of war, in order to beat type 2 diabetes, in order to beat pre-diabetes. Because like I showed you before, this is a worldwide problem, but we don't have to just fold in the towel. We don't have to wave the white flag of surrender and say, hey, woe is me. I got it. So there's nothing else I can do. Let me just go ahead and keep enjoying these cheat meals, these burgers, these high pork sandwiches and high fat foods and high sugary foods and high sodium foods, fried foods. Hey, I grew up on eating fried foods. I'm just going to keep eating them because, hey, why should I stop it? If God wants me to have, diabetes and lose a limb, then so be it. Come on, guys. Stop blaming God for, these complications. I can get on a whole soapbox about that type of stuff. But I'm just passionate about this, folks, because I wish I had listened. I wish that some of my friends who died from type 2 diabetes had listened and made the transformation that I'm telling you guys that you can make. We don't have to die. We don't have to lose limbs, folks. I want to save lives and I want to save limbs, but I can't do it by myself. I want you to experience transformation for yourself so that you can help somebody else. But you have to have that attitude of war. You have to take this seriously. This disease is fighting against you. Fight back, man. Fight back against the cravings. Fight back against the bad habits. I'm talking about development. Your development will lead to your proficiency. In order to have proficiency, you have to have a strategy. You need guidance. You need knowledge. You have to have structure around your life. I keep hearing people say, man, Oscar, I wish I had your consistency. Listen, folks, I had to develop the attitude for this war, this attitude for this battle to beat type 2 diabetes. I was able to lose over 80 pounds in less than a year and come off all medications because I had the attitude for this war. I was prepared for it. You see, but I had to get the knowledge. I had to have structure in my life. I had to research. I had to get the tools. I had to make it easy for myself. I had to apply the knowledge that I was given and receiving and learning. And then that application of knowledge led to wisdom and making wise choices. Yeah, making wise choices when you go to the grocery store and you want to get that bag of chips or you want to get the cookies like you so used to getting. You want to get the ice cream that you used to getting, your favorite ice cream, all of that stuff. Wisdom is the application of the knowledge that you are acquiring. And as you start implementing the knowledge and the wisdom, you're going to have this increased desire and will to win. But it comes down to your approach. How you decide to approach your transformation for your life will make a difference. You see, folks, you're currently on top of a mountain. It's your mountain. And your mountain right now is pre-diabetes. I don't know how you got there, but you're there. You're on top of this steep mountain. You got there over time. You're weighing a certain weight, or maybe you could be thin and still have pre-diabetes. You could be dealing with all kinds of things, the heartburns, the high cholesterol, the high blood pressure. You're on your current mountain. You see, how you will climb down from that mountain will make a difference. You see, again, how you climb down will make a difference. I don't want you to climb down and go the way you came. The way you came was filled with the late night going to the drive-thru. That was filled with a pathway. I mean, that climb down the way that got you to where you are included the cheat meals. It included the sugary drinks. It included all these unhealthy things that you were maybe putting in your body, even the things you were doing against your body, like being sedentary and not being very active. There's a lot of things that led to where you are right now on your current mountain. I want you to get down off that mountain, but you can't go back the way you came. I always tell people, stay focused, keep moving, never go back. You see, going back is where the poor habits are that got you to where you are right now. Don't keep going back to the old way of living. Your former lifestyle is not working for your benefit. So why keep going down the same path? You're already at your current mountain. You're at the peak of this current mountain right now. So don't go back down the way you came. Instead, I want you to start looking ahead to the mountain you are supposed to be on. And that is a mountain of good health. You see, in order to get down off of your current mountain and get to the mountain that you're supposed to be at, you have to climb down. But I want you to climb forward and down. So it's going to take some time. And I know you may be like, okay, Oscar, I'm on top of this mountain. I hear what you're saying. I'm looking down and it's very steep and I'm scared. Looking down when you are on top of a mountain or a big hill, it looks like, man, I don't want to lose my footing. So how do I get down? How do I get off of this mountain? You know, I go hiking a lot. I go trail running a lot. And sometimes I'm on these big hills and these steep parts of mountains and I have to look down. And sometimes I have to take my time and gradually go down so I don't lose my footing. But I'm committed to getting to the mountain and to the hill that I'm supposed to be on. And that's the same thing with you. Yes, I know you may be asking yourself, man, how do I get here? How did I get here? Yeah, you got there over time. You got there gradually. You got there by not paying attention to what was happening all along. But you know what? It's a new day. We're not going to go back. We're going to get off this current mountain of self-doubt, this mountain of prediabetes, this mountain of just looking down at yourself and just worrying all the time and stressed out. We're going to get you to the mountain you're supposed to be on, and that is the mountain of good health. I don't care what your situation is right now. You can always find a way down from where you are and get to the place where you need to be. And you know what? Coming down is not going to be easy. You may end up in a valley and you may feel like you're in a ditch, but you got to keep moving. You have to implement those things that are going to help you to change your life around. And that's where the attitude of war comes in, the lifestyle changes that need to be put in place. Because folks, you have to see yourself with a healthy weight, with a healthy lifestyle, eating healthier, feeling great about yourself. You can get there, folks, but it's going to take preparation. It's going to take guidance. It's going to take strategy. It's going to take development. It's going to take proficiency. It's going to take preparing your mindset for this climb down and climb up to where you need to be. So here are some basic things that I recommend that you do to get going. And these are so basic, you're going to be like, Oscar, it has to be more than that. Listen, I keep telling you, it's not about the complications. It's not about the making things so complex. It's not about, signing up for this program and that program. Folks, my goal is to help diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. Those lifestyle changes can be very simple, but it's going to take hard work. So here are a couple things to get you going. I want you to make a doctor's appointment very soon. Now, you may say, well, Oscar, I just had a doctor's appointment not too long ago. Okay, but now you're armed with more knowledge. So you can look at your past report from the doctors, but I want you to dive deep into that report and learn everything there is about your situation. Let's say you haven't been to the doctor in a while. Again, make a doctor's appointment very soon. Let them know that, hey, you want to get your blood work done. That's very important. Have them to do a lipid panel, see what's going on with cholesterol, the basic things, see what's going on with your triglycerides, see what's going on with your glucose level. They may have you to do a glucose tolerance test. You want to get a full workup. And of course, based on that, you get some guidance on what you need to do. You may have to get with a nutritionist, a dietitian to help you to craft a plan for your nutrition. And that's another thing. I definitely want you to change your nutrition. That's another lifestyle change. You have to change what you're putting in your body. You have to learn about what nutrition is. You have to learn, nutrition is not just drinking something and eating something. Giving your body what it needs versus what you crave will make a big difference. You see, I've now become a student of nutrition. I love nutrition. I now understand that our bodies do need and thrive off of carbohydrates. Carbs are not bad. It's a type of carbs that we're putting in our bodies. Our bodies need protein, right? The building blocks of our strength and our muscles. Come on, guys. Our bodies need healthy fats. Come on. Fat is not the enemy. It's the type of fats that we're putting in our body. Our bodies need hydration through water. Our bodies need vitamins and minerals to perform basic functions. So when people have a deficiency of vitamin C, what happens to the body? When somebody has a vitamin D deficiency, what happens? What about a lack of vitamin E or shortage of vitamin E? What happens? There's so many things to learn about the human body. And you know what? A pill and a supplement is not always the key. I believe we should get back to using food as medicine. So that's a part of lifestyle changes, right? Here's another thing. Stop drinking sugary drinks like the lemonades, the sweet teas, and the sweet teas mixed with lemonades. That was me. The fruit juices, unless you're making your own fruit juices. I mean, there's so many things I used to drink, folks. The sodas, the sports drinks, the energy drinks. Man, I was just pumping my body full of a whole bunch of just stuff that really was not contributing to good health. And on top of that, I was not drinking water. I was so delusional that I was thinking like, well, a water is a liquid. If I drink a soda, they had to have used water to make this thing. So I am getting water in my body. Come on, how delusional is that, right? And there may be some chemists out there that say, well, yeah, there's water in it, that should be fine. But listen, I'm talking about hydrating your body with what it needs. Your water is an essential nutrient. Nobody can argue with that. So here's another lifestyle change. Change your physical activity. Yes, we have to move more and move better, folks. I'm telling you, I love exercising now, and I'm glad I did because I was able to strengthen my body. I was able to strengthen my knees. I mean, I can do squats now and not feel pain. I mean, folks, walking used to be a challenge. Walking up and down steps. You're talking about dealing with back pain, joint pain, all kind of stuff. Now, here's another lifestyle change. Stop smoking. If you all are smoking cigarettes and smoking cigars and stuff like that, is there really a benefit to smoking for your body? No, it could be contributing to poor health. Here's another thing. Stop drinking alcohol, or definitely minimize drinking alcohol. Alcohol is not benefiting you, folks. It's not an essential nutrient. It's not nutritious to drink alcohol. It's not. So that's it. Another lifestyle change. Work on breaking bad habits and developing new positive habits. You see, I know it's easier said than done. We all have habits that we want to break, and it's not easy developing new habits. But if we make it a point to say, I'm going to tackle these bad habits once and for all, I'm going to put plan in place to tackle and break these bad habits. You're going to be able to do it. You're going to be able to develop new positive habits that's going to help you to turn your life around and get you the transformation that you need. Trust me, folks. And folks, here's something else. When it comes to change and transformation, changing of your mindset, the change of your mindset, the change of your attitude, I said it earlier, will make a big difference. You have to develop the attitude for this war, the attitude for this battle, folks. I want you to start speaking life into your situation and your circumstances. Yes, you may have a diagnosis of prediabetes. You may have a diagnosis of high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and so forth. But I want you to start focusing on speaking life into your situation. Yeah, it's a reality that you're dealing with these conditions and so forth, but I need for you to focus on turning your life around by changing your words. Words have power. Words bring life. So, there's positive affirmations that you can speak over yourself instead of, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, wow, you big fat walrus, like I did when I was big, saying, hey, using affirmations like I will turn my health around. I trust my body's ability to transform and adapt. I am grateful for the opportunity to nourish my body with wholesome foods. There's all kinds of positive affirmations you can speak over yourself, folks. And I think that's really important. again, the goal is to not allow prediabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. So to help you with building a structure and to increase your knowledge and to put a plan in place, I had promised you guys that I was going to give you a free gift. It is my weight loss planner. It's the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Weight Loss Planner. All you have to do is email me at hello@beatingdiabeteslifestyle.com and put in the subject line weight loss planner. I'll also put a link to it in the show notes where you can just go ahead and email me. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know that you are interested in this weight loss planner. You know, folks, I wish I had a resource like this that really broke things down for me to help me to, really track my progress. This weight loss plan, I put a lot of time into it. Think of it as your personalized planner. You can use this planner to set your weight loss goals and track your progress from the start date to, the end. Let's say you have a goal date of when you want to accomplish certain things. Man, there's a place for you to fill that in. You learn about benefiting from losing weight and so forth. This plan is going to help you to keep it simple and help you to keep your goals doable. There's a section here where you can write down specifically what your current goals are, your future goals. There's a section for breaking bad habits and listing out the habits that you want to break and what you're going to do about transforming your life and developing good habits, those good habits that you do want to build. There's a checklist, man, that's going to help you to take action. I mean, literally, I wish I had something like this as a resource to help keep me on track. I mean, I talk with some people sometimes and they're like, man, I just don't know where to start. Well, folks, I have a free resource for you. It costs you nothing except the time to email me, request it. You can download it to your mobile device, like your cell phone. You can fill it in and it's going to help you out. You can download it to your tablet or even your computer, laptop, what have you. You're going to like it. The checklist that's in this is definitely worth getting. So go ahead and do that. And I give you also, guess what? As a bonus, inside of this weight loss planner, there are 30 positive transformation affirmation statements that you definitely would want to get. And you can customize it and turn it into your own and make it something personal for you. So definitely get that, folks. I want to be a blessing to you and your loved ones. So have your loved ones to email me as well, right? And remember, the goal is to not allow prediabetes to develop into type 2 diabetes. Well, folks, I hope that this podcast has been a blessing to you. If you found value in it, please like, share, tell somebody about it. And of course, as always, review the podcast. Let me know how you are experiencing it, how you like it, and also where you are in the world. I definitely want to hear from you. So as always, my friends, stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can, my friend, and you will. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.